Sting's transformation from the bright blonde surfer Sting to the dark, enigmatic Crow character was a huge shock to wrestling fans, to say the least. However, it worked. By God, did it work. And it was the shot in the arm that WCW and Sting himself needed at that time. Some of the changes that went along with Sting's new look included no more smiling, no more talking, a new move, the Scorpion Death Drop, that was introduced into Sting's arsenal to wipe out NWO members quick and fast, but perhaps the most spectacular new thing that Sting introduced to the pro wrestling audience was rappelling down from the rafters. Using a bungee cord and a harness, Sting would drop in from the top of arenas and attack the NWO at will. It was awesome, it was exciting, and it made people tune into WCW television because you never knew when Sting would be dropping by. But it wasn't something that came natural to Sting. In this interview he talks about how he was scared every time he had to do it, and I can't blame him. And it wasn't just coming down from the rafters either. Sometimes he would rappel back up with added company. Or if it wasn't that, he could be seen jumping out of helicopters into mid-air to get down into the ring. Talk about dedication, right? So in this audio clip, Sting explains what it was really like rappelling down from the rafters, and also what it was like not wrestling all that time before Starrcade 97. Let's go check it out.
It wasn't tough to not be a human Super Bowl every night of the week. I actually was kind of recovering physically, so that was good. And man, there are a lot of stories I could tell about some of the rappels. You think I should do that? I mean, some of them are pretty, yes. Some of them are very, very intense. I mean, I was scared every single time I did it. And as a matter of fact, the first time we did it, the United Center in Chicago, it was because of this man, again, right here, that I actually did it. Because I came in, I tried 4 attempts in the practice runs earlier in the day, and, you know, I was spinning the whole way down and getting dizzy, and, you know, last thing I want to do is to get dizzy and fall over like a drunk in front of everybody, because it would have been the end of that character. And I came back into the dressing room area, and I said, you remember this? I said, I'm not doing it. He goes, what do you mean you're not doing it? You've got to do this. I mean, he was very persistent, you know, and
persuasive.
Yeah, persuasive. Yes, yeah. And you know, the stunt guy that we were working with, he was there and trying to talk me into it. He says, just if you just go down faster, it'll work. So the 5th time I did it was live in front of all of you, and you know, I came down so fast, I had 2nd-degree burns on all my fingers, on my hands coming down. I had 2 sets of gloves on. You know, I was walking down the aisle like this with a stone face. And on the inside, I was going, oh, my fingers are burning, man. I'm burning. This sucks. But it was good.
So the moment that Sting is talking about there is from January 1997 on a Monday Nitro. That is when Sting dropped down from the ceiling for the very first time. Randy Savage had taken Nitro hostage that night, and he refused to leave the ring. But Sting came down, confronted the Macho Man, and in the end both men would walk out through the crowd together, with everyone thinking that Sting was a member of the NWO. But that is another story for another day. So Sting also mentions there how he was pretty freaked out every time he had to rappel down, and as I said before, you can't blame him for that, right? After all, we can't forget the Owen Hart tragedy that happened in May of 1999, where Owen was tragically killed when he fell while rappelling into the ring. Sting was asked by Jim Ross on his podcast if he considered stopping the rappel after what happened to Owen that night, and Sting said, "Oh yeah, I sure did. I saw the guys who were doing the rigging for my gig, and I said, we're not going to be doing this, and they said, why? And I said, because Owen Hart died." Sting said it was months until he did it again. He was being persuaded by Eric Bischoff, other members of WCW, and just people and fans in general who wanted to see him do it again. So Sting actually called Bret the Hitman Hart, that is Owen Hart's brother for those of you who do not know, and he asked Bret what he thought about it. I talked to Bret, I said, Bret, what do you think? If you guys don't want me to do it, if your family doesn't want me to do it, I will not do it. And Bret Hart did talk to his family about it, and he would call Sting back saying, we're all fine with it, go ahead, it's not going to hurt. So what a story right there, eh? just shows you the character and the class of the man Steve Borden, Sting, to actually call up Bret Hart, and he asked if it would be okay to rappel down from the rafters, because it could be seen in bad taste after what happened to Owen Hart for Sting to just continue doing it. And Sting didn't just continue doing it, he asked for permission from Bret the Hitman Hart and his family. Shows you the real decency and character of the man Sting. So when Sting started rappelling down from the rafters all the way back in January of 1997, when he did it for the very first time, it was something that nobody had done before and nobody has replicated since. And one thing's for sure, it always made for a very exciting Monday night on Nitro. Thanks heaps guys for tuning into the video. Be sure to drop a scorpion death drop on that like button and subscribe to the channel for more awesome pro wrestling action from the WWE, the WCW and much more.